and welcome back to AWS On Air. We're live in Vegas at reInvent. It is our last full day of the conference, but we are still bringing you the sessions with the latest launches and innovations that we're announcing here at reInvent. So I'm Jasmine Kiles. I'm one of your hosts. I'm joined again by my lovely co-host, Sydney.
Hi, good to be here. We just did a session together, and always a pleasure. So thanks for tuning in. Whether you just are logging on now or you've been here for a bit, we have another exciting launch to talk about. So let's jump over. Would you like to introduce yourselves?
Yeah. First of all, it's great to be here. My name is Rajneesh Singh. I'm the general manager of SageMaker low-code, no-code team. My team is responsible for building low-code, no-code products on top of SageMaker to enable ML beginners to use machine learning for their needs.
Awesome. And who do we have here?
Yeah, hi, I'm Davide. I'm the worldwide specialist for SageMaker Canvas specifically, and I'm tech lead for low-code, no-code machine learning. I'm excited to be here. It's the first time that I go live talking about tech, so I'm super excited.
Well, we're so excited to have you, and it's only your first time, but we know after this you'll be back because you're going to love it.
For sure.
That's the guarantee.
For sure.
So awesome. Tell us about your launch.
Yeah, so we had a set of exciting launches this year. But before I get to the specifics of the launch, let me tell you about SageMaker Canvas. SageMaker Canvas is a no-code machine learning and generative AI workspace for business teams to build, customize, and deploy machine learning models. And the reason why we launched SageMaker Canvas back in reInvent 2021 was primarily to enable ML beginners to use machine learning. The demand for machine learning is skyrocketing. And customers are telling us that they do not have enough number of machine learning experts to build machine learning models, to build machine learning solutions. So they have been asking us, saying, hey, how can you enable our domain experts, folks who are business analysts, folks who are product managers, folks who are marketing managers to use machine learning? So we launched SageMaker Canvas at reInvent 2021, and we have been very excited to see the adoption of SageMaker Canvas. Customers have been using SageMaker Canvas for problems such as customer churn prediction, demand forecasting, natural language processing, such as sentiment analysis, and variety of different problems. As part of this reInvent, we brought in variety of foundation model capabilities for our customers, because customers are saying, hey, that their demand for generative AI is also skyrocketing. Why don't you enable generative AI in SageMaker Canvas? So that is exactly what we did. We are providing a large selection of foundation models in SageMaker Canvas. You can get access of models from Amazon Bedrock, as well as publicly available models from Amazon SageMaker Jumpstart within Canvas. You can interact with those models, ask questions in a conversational interface, and solve your business needs. Along with it, we also enable customers to pick the model and take their customer data and ask questions on top of their data to extract insights. In addition to that, yesterday, we launched another form of customization called Foundation Models Fine-Tuning in SageMaker Canvas. So we are going to give you a demo of variety of these capabilities in the later half of this discussion.
That sounds awesome. So forgive me if you already said it too, but just to frame it from a different angle, what was the problem before, and how are we solving it with this launch?
Yeah. So the problem that our customers were telling is, hey, there is a big potential of foundation models. They see many use cases within their organizations where they can leverage foundation models. But they're saying, hey, we have to involve our machine learning engineers to stitch those foundation models together, build applications on top of it, and then only they can expand these capabilities to their business users.
Got it.
And they were asking, saying, hey, why do they have to do it? Can they rather use an application like SageMaker Canvas, because they were already using SageMaker Canvas for problems such as customer churn prediction. It's a point-and-click user interface, no coding required whatsoever. You can bring your data from 55+ data sources.
Oh, wow.
And generate predictions. So customer said, hey, you have already enabled us to do so. Why don't you do that for foundation models? So that is the reason why we built these set of capabilities.
That's an excellent segue. Where can you import data from into an Amazon SageMaker Canvas?
You can import data from 55 different type of data sources. The examples include Amazon S3, Amazon Redshift, Snowflake, Salesforce, Databricks, and you name it. There are 55 different type of data sources. It's a point-and-click interface. You provide your authentication details and import data with a few clicks.
Yeah. So multiple data sources,
Yes.
meeting customers where they are, not saying, hey, you have to change your data source in order to be able to use SageMaker Canvas. Bring what you have, authenticate, and let's roll.
Right.
Awesome.
Right.
Awesome. So tell me a little bit about how can customers pick the best foundation model for their use case?
Yeah. So customers can evaluate multiple models. So the way they can do it is they go to the user interface. We are going to show you a demo. And from that user interface, you can pick any model exposed by Amazon Bedrock and a select set of open source and publicly available models from Amazon Jumpstart. So they make the selection. They go to the conversational interface. From there, they can evaluate models. And customers have been telling us saying, hey, not one model takes care of all their needs. And they have been asking us, hey, can they compare the responses of different type of models? So within that interface itself, they can select up to 3 different models, ask the question to 3 different models, and we do prompt engineering behind the scenes, send the request to all those models, and show the response side by side. So using that capability, customers can find, hey, whether one model, which one is a better option for me for that specific need. When they have a different problem, maybe a different model is a better solution. So it is a point-and-click interface through which you can just pick a model that you like, send your query to any model, and get the response from the model that you have picked.
Awesome.
Nice.
So we've talked about it quite a bit now. Would you like to show us?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's jump in.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys a demo of what we have available in the form of customization of foundation models. Now, notably, there are a couple of different ways that we can go ahead and customize those foundation models out there. Specifically, I'm going to go through 2 of them. The first one being something that we already had like about a month ago, give or take, which is a no-code RAG approach. So for those of you who have never heard what RAG is a retrieval augmented generation. In a nutshell, think about it when you want to look up an information like documentation or something. You don't learn everything by heart. What you do instead is that you open up the documentation, look up information, and then essentially retrieve that information and generate an answer based on that. So I'm going to show you a simulation of this. So I have an example here where I have multiple sources of data, in this case indexes from Amazon Kendra. And then I go ahead and start asking a question away to the model. So what is happening behind the scenes is that as I give the query to Amazon SageMaker Canvas, this query is then being passed to the Kendra index behind the scenes. We retrieve the most relevant content with respect to the question that we just asked. And then it retrieves this information, it passes it to the large language model, and the large language model generates the answer based on these snippets that were retrieved. As you can see in this case, while I was speaking, and I speak a lot, I know that's my fault, my problem, but as I was going through that, there's a lot, the answers were already generated, and you can compare more than one model at a time. For example, in this example here, I'm actually comparing 2 great models that we have. One is Anthropic's model, it's Claude 2, it's probably one of the state-of-the-art models that we have available as part of the Amazon Bedrock package. And on the other side, we have our own large language model, which is Amazon Titan. Now, we actually have 2 Amazon Titans now after reInvent, Amazon Titan Standard and Amazon Titan Express. And you can use any of those models in SageMaker Canvas and compare multiple models at once. Now, once an answer is generated, you can actually also look up the source of where this information comes from. Because it's good to generate an answer, but you want to be sure that the answer is actually generated from a real documentation and from real information. And as you can see, Canvas provides information about where the information comes from, as well as allows you to open a preview of what this content is. And as you can see here on the left, we actually have a preview of the PDF file. And this PDF file was extracted from the AWS Machine Learning blog. So if you have never seen the AWS Machine Learning blog, what are you doing? Just go now and look it up online. You should definitely check out the Machine Learning blog. We have lots of available ones. For example, this one talking about the generative AI capabilities in SageMaker Canvas. So see, this is the first example that I have for you today. However, I have another one. So not every single time is great, let's say, to retrieve information from a knowledge base. Sometimes we really want to make sure that the model provides the correct way of exposing information in the form of having the right format of output, the right expectations that we have for the model to give us out. Now, here I'm going to have a quick example. I'm going to play the role. I would wear the hat, but I have this headset on, so I cannot wear a hat. But I would wear the hat of a business analyst, in this case specifically a financial analyst. And the goal of the financial analyst in this case is to provide suggestions in terms of investment based on the risk profile of a specific person. So let's take an example. Like, for example, myself, I would be 28 years old. I have a job. I'm pretty good at my job, so I don't think I'm going to lose my job anytime soon. But then what is going to happen is that I use this information to basically try and say, hey, what are the investments that I should be making as a 28 years old with a job that doesn't have that has a low profile risk? Now, of course, I have to make this disclaimer that AWS or SageMaker Canvas is not an investment tool, is not an investment suggestion platform. We do this for the sake of an example. This is one of the examples that you can make in terms of fine-tuning a foundation model. So let's take a look at what this example would be. So as I pass over here to my demo, what I have here is, once again, the same chatbot interface that you're used to, that you saw it before. In a nutshell, what happens is that as I have it here, I can ask a question to the model or to the multiple models that I might have. And in this case, I provide information about the client background, in this case, a 38-year-old married couple, the goals that they have, retire comfortably, who doesn't want to do that, right? And a risk profile being medium. Now, as I go ahead and send this query back to SageMaker Canvas, as always, the query is being sent to the model, in this case, Titan Express, and then we're going to be using this query and to generate a recommendation. And the default recommendation you're going to see here in a second, it's a pretty generic recommendation, right? It talks about different funds which might or might not exist. We're not even really sure if those bonds and those stocks and those ETF are actually a thing or not. Might be hallucinated. We have no source, we haven't really trained the model, we haven't really customized it. So this response is plausible, however, we are not really sure whether it's an actual response or not. So in a nutshell, this could be a generic model that we're looking at, and a generic results that we're looking at. So how do we make sure that this actually happens in the way that we want it to, is that we can go ahead and fine-tune the model. Now, when we fine-tune the model, what happens is that we can provide our own information, and it's really easy to just click a button on the top right of the screen here in SageMaker Canvas, give a name to the fine-tuned model that we want to use, and then take it from there by providing an input data set. I'm actually going to show you here, as part of the demo, how to create a new tabular data set, which we'll very easily call it financial data. And I can drag and drop a CSV or a Parquet file. In this case, I drag and drop it from my computer, CSV file. But I could also connect to tools like DocumentDB. We have also launched the support for DocumentDB as a data source as this reinvent, right? So when I take a look at the dataset that I've uploaded locally, I can see that it's made of two main components. We have an input and an output. This is what we call a dataset, which is a prompt completion dataset. The input is the prompt that we want the model to answer, and on the output, we actually have the expected answer that we want from the model. Now, let's go ahead and see what happens when I use the CSV dataset, right? So we're going to create a dataset. Canvas is going to load the dataset into memory, and as you can see here, I've done a bunch of tests, so I have a lot of different data sources and different datasets from different sources. Once again, I'm going to select that, and fine-tuning a model in SageMaker Canvas is as easy as selecting the model that I want to use. Once I have, of course, uploaded the dataset, I select the base models that I want to customize, whether they are from Amazon Bedrock or they are from SageMaker Jumpstart, and just click and select the ones that you want to fine-tune. Fine-tuning can be done up to 3 base models and can be a mix of both Amazon Bedrock models and SageMaker Jumpstart. We take care of the AutoML magic behind the scenes. Only tell us which model you want to use, and if you want, maybe you want to customize the way that the fine-tuning process happens. If you're a little bit more an advanced user, you want to control the epoch, the data split, how much time it should run at a max. Now, once I have this done, all I have to do is click a button. It will start the fine-tuning process. So SageMaker will run behind the scenes, training for the SageMaker Jumpstart model. It will run fine-tuning in Bedrock. And once that is done, you're going to be seeing in this very nice UI, the team has done a great job about this. You're going to be seeing the performances and the metrics of your model, like in this case, training perplexity of 1.0, which is very good, training loss, validation loss. All of this information is going to be available for you natively in the UI, no code needed.
That's awesome.
So we had someone in the chat ask, what is the difference between low code and no code?
That's a very good question. So the way that we think about no-code, low-code, no-code is really, as the name suggests, you don't want to write any code. Think about all the people out there that for some reason or another do not have a Python experience. Do you guys have a Python experience?
No.
I do.
Well, you do. That's
I love
great.
Python. It's one of my favorites. But
You're actually a great example for this because you could be the no-code user because you don't have any Python experience, while you who have a little bit of Python experience, then you can get started faster with low-code tools. So that is exactly where we sit. No-code, get started, democratize machine learning, everybody can do that. Low-code, get started faster and do things that you already know would work, but without spending time writing lines and lines and lines of code.
that's awesome. That's actually something I'm always looking for when I'm learning about AI and ML and all this kind of stuff, is like, how could I streamline my day-to-day work in a secure way, in like a testable way. So that's awesome.
Yeah. And additional example I'll share is, if you look at data preparation and model building, you can do most of the things with a point-and-click user interface in a completely no-code fashion. But at the same time, Canvas also allows you to write snippets of codes, embed snippets of code. Say, for instance, something is not available at the point-and-click UI. You can write a snippet of Python code, and you can augment the capabilities of Canvas with that Python code. That is where low-code component comes in. So the reason why low-code is brought into Canvas, which we started as a no-code tool, is to provide extensibility to users where point-and-click UI may not necessarily be enough.
Yeah, that is absolutely something that I will use.
Yeah.
So super excited to jump into it. But yeah, I don't want to pause your demo. What's next?
Please, if there are other questions, actually go ahead and stop me. Otherwise, I would just go on talking for hours, and that is not the purpose of this session.
I think we can continue on with the rest of the demo.
Cool. So let me go here back to the demo real quick. And as we were discussing now, once we have completed the fine-tuning process, then what we want to do is we want to check the performances of this fine-tuned model, right? There's a beautiful curve here, which is the perplexity curve and the loss curve. Basically gives us an idea about the temporal evolution of the fine-tuning process, with lower values meaning that we have a better performance of the model itself. Well, of course, using and seeing the performance of the model and training the model, for example, here analyzing all the artifacts, is good enough. But what customers want is to have a complete, white box of everything that has happened behind the scenes. And we don't want, at the LCNC group, for AutoML to be a black box, where people don't know what's happening behind the scenes. We actually want to expose anything that is going behind the scenes. And in fact, as you can see here, we show the model leaderboard. And the model leaderboard is basically every single step that happens behind the scenes, we give it all to you. You know everything that has happened behind the scenes. You change your default model, you check the performances of other models, and you go ahead and choose whatever you want. After all, it's your model with your own data, so you have complete property over that. And once the models are trained, and for example, if you want to switch to another one, then one of the most common use cases is that you want to go ahead and test this. Now, do you remember the chat from before that we saw where we tested the different models? It's actually compatible with the custom models. And in fact, Canvas will handle deploying those models to production. It will take about 15 to 30 minutes. It depends on the size of the model. But then what happens is that we are launching the model, and we will be able to use it in Canvas chat. To make sure that our customers don't spend too much money and they control, of course, the cost and they manage the cost, we automatically shut down anything that is not being used after 2 hours of inactivity. So once the model is deployed, and you will see here it in a second, you can actually then go ahead and use this model and then, for example, compare it to a default version of the model. So remember from before, when we did the demo, what actually happened is that the answer that we got was a very long one and not really relevant to what we wanted to do. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and ask the same question, and we're going to see how the two answers actually are completely different. The right one being, although plausible and possible, it's not the one that we're looking for. It's a generic results. While on the other side, on the left side, we see that it's a customized result, which really goes into details of what are the funds, what are the different things that we should be investing on, and exactly in the format that we expect our model to suggest this. If you think about yourself being in the shoes of a financial analyst, now you can see how this actually brings a value. When you're on the phone with a customer and you want to provide this information to your customer, it's actually right there and right available for you to use, and it's very easy. It allows you to have a much better productivity on your day-to-day job.
Awesome. Wow. This is a lot. This is awesome. So if you could summarize this for like key takeaways for the audience, what would you want to stand out the most?
So what we want to stand out the most is the idea that it's very easy to do generative AI in SageMaker Canvas. If you're already a SageMaker Canvas user, you're going to love how we do generative AI in there. No code required. The no code is really our key pillar here at SageMaker Canvas. If you want to use the default model as they are, go ahead and use them. They are available in Amazon Bedrock. We provide an interface to use it very simply. If you want to customize your model, then figure out if you want to retrieve information from a documentation, and therefore you do the first example that we've seen together. Or, for example, if you want to really have a customized solution, then you can think about going ahead and fine-tuning. And we want to make sure that we get this as easy as possible so that everybody can get started doing that.
Yeah, it's an ease of use. You've definitely given me confidence to go and say, I can go into SageMaker Canvas and be able to try some things out for myself.
Looking forward to see what you will do.
Yeah, and you don't have to be an ML expert or a machine learning engineer to access and use all this capability.
Awesome, yeah, absolutely. So where can people watching that are either at reInvent or watching this on demand learn more about this?
So we have a self-paced lab, which is available. It is available on our product pages. If you search for SageMaker Canvas, you'll find the product page. It has a self-paced lab, which you can go through. In addition to that, there are YouTube videos which are available, so you can watch those YouTube videos. That type of demo which Davide just had, we have similar demos for a variety of different capabilities, such as forecasting, customer churn prediction, natural language processing, and things like that.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, so look for you in AWS, in the AWS Workshop Studio, and you'll be able to go in and search Amazon SageMaker Canvas. I see that there's an immersion day in there, and they can get access to that and go through and follow, get some practice, and be able to just start building.
Right.
Okay.
Absolutely, and we keep on improving that immersion day so that if any of the people that are listening today, they have feedback as to what they would like to see both in the product and on the immersion day page as in terms of labs, then we're always listening for customer feedback. So we're really looking forward to all the people that will reach out.
Awesome. So for someone who doesn't want to go through the immersion day, how can they get started right away?
There's actually a very easy page that you can access. Just type aws.amazon.com/SageMaker/Canvas. It will talk to you about all the different features that we have available in Canvas, and it will even lead you to the service page where there's actually a free demo. You don't have to run anything. You don't have to have your credit card open. You can just go ahead, fire it up, and learn how SageMaker Canvas can make it very easy for you to get started with machine learning without writing a single line of code.
Awesome.
Nice.
Well, thank you both for joining us, and thank you, Jasmine, for co-hosting. We're going to go ahead and sign off. Stay tuned for our next session.
Great. Thank you for having us.